right. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great week. It's so good to see you. We are getting ready for the weekly collective. This is going to be an opportunity for us to take a look at the next 7 days to chart all of the opportunities, hopefully to avoid any of the challenges or at least know what they are so that we can deal with them. And as always, it's my honor and pleasure to be here. I hope that those of you that are celebrating the holiday are having a great holiday, and to everybody else, happy happy Sunday. I've had a busy weekend trying to get all of the end of the monthly videos done. So by the way, if you haven't caught all of the April videos, they are done right in time here. So make sure to check the channel page. I just wrapped up Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. They're all on the main page now. So thank you so much. So yeah, we're going to get started with the 7-day forecast here in just a moment. Actually, we always begin with channeled messages first. Channeled messages today were interesting and definitely connected to the special topic that you chose, which was rebirth and renewal, but also just kind of appropriate for getting us into the flow. And that's really what this is about. So first card says it all. I was shown choreography actually in my dreams, and that's a first for me. I don't think I've ever seen that in dreams or meditation before. Perhaps some of you are dancers or choreographers. For everybody else, though, this is more symbolic of orchestrated movement, right? That's really what choreography is, intentional movement, which is something we talk about quite a bit here on this channel. Discipline is part of this too. So dancers are able to achieve sort of muscle memory and flexibility through that discipline, daily practice, devotion. Discipline and devotion, definitely, and dedication. We can use all of those D words to kind of get us connected to that. Once you have the muscle memory, once you've done the homework, once you kind of just close your eyes and trust, then there is that beautiful flow. And that's actually what the star card represents here as well, because she has those two sort of chalices, or there's a better word for those, but basically she's in the middle and the water's flowing through her as well. So that energy. We see this on the Temperance card too. The Temperance angel has 2 cups. But in this particular illustration, she's almost like the source because the water's coming through those sort of chalices there. So in this moment, when you are able to allow yourself to just kind of like get into that flowing energy, everything is going to align. One thing that I like to also kind of repeat as much as necessary is don't force the connection. And I think we even had something similar to that in the daily message, but it either is happening or it's not, and where it's not, respect that and focus on where it is receptive. So this can be in trying to get people's attention, trying to get something, whether it's a job or an opportunity. You don't want to constantly have to chase after something. You want to open up portals. So we're putting you in that position of power today. Make a move. We're talking about dancing. So sometimes there is a partner situation where you lead, and this is an opportunity for you to lead. I'm focusing on 2 aces here in these last 2 cards. Ace of Swords is beginning a conversation. It is showing and demonstrating what you can do. So walking the walk, talking the talk, because we have the Ace of Wands after, actually Ace of Pentacles after this. But take a lead and see what happens. Rather than passively sitting back and hoping for the best, speak up, let people know. And at least you know then at the end of the day that you've given it your all. Whether or not they give it their all, that's a whole different thing, but it's time to make a move. And because we are here on the heels of Easter, which is a time of renewal, I want to really focus on the new part of this. The releasing piece happens. This is really a celebration of birthing and opportunity, and that's something we can all connect with. We're on the heels of spring as well in the Northern Hemisphere, so it's a chance for you to decide, yeah, I'm going to make a move, but I'm also going to plant a seed that may take more than a day to see the fruits of that labor. And I think we're so used to instant gratification, me as well, with the phone and everything, because you can just go and sort of connect to anything at any time. When it comes to something that's worth creating, sometimes it can take weeks, months, or years for something beautiful to come together. So I think it's good to have a few of these Ace of Pentacles in the ground at any given time, just like a garden, so that you're constantly thinking of the next crop, the next season, etc. So be patient, but also plant that seed today. So if you don't like where you're at, that's okay. What do you want to do to get to the next step? Let's focus instead on the horizon. And as we look at the special topic a little bit later today, we'll definitely do that. Now we can look at the 7-day. Let's see which deck is calling to us. So while I'm doing that, if you enjoy what you're seeing here, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. It does help. Let's see here. Something magical, right? We need some magic. Okay, this one's a good one. All right, so this is going to take us very much through this next 7 days, one card at a time, and kind of help us see an overall trend for the week as well. That's why I like the 7-day. Dailies help us see how we're tracking progress. I get that question a lot. So, every day the energy changes. So today we're going to look at what the week holds in store for us. Those daily videos, they're like a pulse check. How am I tracking? What can I do today to get closer to the goal? So that's how these two kind of work together. Last unicorn I'll use for the elemental. This is magical because it's all myths and fairy tales, this one, the Tarot of the Divine. So, but thank you for the last unicorn suggestion. We'll use that as well. Okay. It's a beautiful 10 of Wands because it shows growth after a period perhaps of stagnation. I like that. Okay, we have got our weekly spread. Let's begin with this Sunday. We have opening of possibilities, opening your eyes to something new. The Eight of Swords in reverse. So typically when the Eight of Swords comes through, you might be missing something because the blinders can represent either not seeing or not hearing, or just not tuning into something. And it can be, sometimes it's just a cognitive block. It's not like literal blindfolds. So we expect something to come through in a certain time, in a certain form, just basically put too many constraints on possibilities. So one thing that this is saying is just stay open, right? Look everywhere. Look in places you wouldn't normally. Funny story. Because I was just a little tired this morning, so I got a coffee. It's white and you can't really see it. I had placed it on something in the bathroom because I was just getting ready and everything. It took me 10 minutes. I kept going from room to room. I'm like, where's my coffee? It was right in front of me, but it blended in with everything because I had set it on like a box or something that was white, and I, for the life of me, couldn't see it. I actually got cards. I'm like, which room is this in? So sometimes we can walk right past something that we're looking for. And I don't know, I actually looked 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, why can't I see it? I just had to close my eyes and think, stop panicking. It's here. And I actually just reached out my hand and I felt it. So, sometimes just trust. It's kind of like in, it was actually the first Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi, we're talking like A New Hope, like old school, where he's like, close your eyes, and he has him practice, with that testing dummy. And you have to sometimes just trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Stop looking for the obvious. And you may have something that's right in front of you, a solution, an opportunity, and put the intention out there that it's going to get easier. That's something that has come through in the last couple readings too. And it's something that we forget. We sometimes think this is really hard. Why isn't it happening? So today, plant the seed, the Ace of Pentacles seed, that I'm ready for things to get easier. I'm ready to be able to reach out and just find what it is that I'm looking for. It shouldn't be so hard. Okay, so that's the message today. It's really about intention. Okay, you guys are laughing at me. I'm glad it's a relatable problem. I swear, I went, the dog was like, what are you doing? I kept going from room to room because I'm like, I'm just tired. I need that extra little bit of coffee today so I can be my best. Anyway, Monday, let's look at what's coming through. We have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups can also be a hidden blessing. And with this one, it's a different version of what I just talked about, where you can see this little bird in the cup behind her. She's focusing on what's in front of her. I like that in this one, she's kind of happy. Usually they're a little bit over the whole exchange. I'll find it while I'm talking, the traditional one. There are about 3 things that I can say about this. The grass is always greener when you're looking at someone else's life or experiences, but we forget in this day of, sort of manufactured reality where, you're kind of cultivating the best bits and putting it out there that you don't know what they've gone through to get where they're at. Sometimes we also think to ourselves, why hasn't it happened yet? Why haven't I met my love? Why haven't I gotten the job? Why am I not popular? Whatever it is. So this person is super frustrated. Instead of looking at all of the great stuff that is happening and maybe that the universe is trying to align them to something better. So keep an open eye and ear. We're continuing the theme of being open to something different. Change, right? This is what this whole reading is kind of about today so far, is being open to change and going with that flow. That's what the choreography was. You may also have a difficult time getting someone to understand your point of view on Monday, so you might need to show them rather than tell them, and so be willing to communicate in different ways. All right? Let's look at Tuesday. On Tuesday, we have the return of something here, the Eight of Cups. For some of you, if you have postponed a conversation, a meeting, jury duty, whatever, there could be some sort of a reminder coming through that, hey, don't forget about this. This is also a reminder for you to look at things that you've committed to and finish what you've started. There could be someone from the past coming back. There could be some unfinished karma or conversations that need to happen. Some of you are overdue for a break. And the Eight of Cups shows that when you create some distance between you and the situation in front of you, then suddenly you start to know, like, you can separate yourself from the energy of urgency or frustration or the environment, and you just start to think, oh, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is who I am. Take a break if you need to, especially before an important decision. You shouldn't have to make it on the fly, and if anyone is pressuring you to do so, push back a little bit. Even if you're just buying yourself like an hour to clear your thoughts, just say, I'll come back to you. I need to do some research, or I need to consider this. No harm in asking, and anybody that's reasonable normally will give you the space that you need. And by the way, some of you might just need to get away from someone or something, even if it's not a holiday. There may be something agitating, and this is just, again, getting clarity on if it's just a momentary thing or if you need more of a movement in another direction. Okay? This was where I was like, that's an interesting card. So we're looking at Wednesday now. 10 of Wands. Normally it's a card where we see someone kind of hunched over and there's a burden on it. This one's really cool because it shows that from something that has come to pass, we have something brand new coming forth. But in the reverse state, it may be difficult to let go of whatever it is that you're holding on to that has come to pass. So stepping away from something, you may make the decision, because this is the sort of like getting some perspective, and then this is just saying, I'm ready to move on. So there is a subtle nuance of difference between this. This is like graduation and completion. This is letting go or release. And for some of you, the burden may be too intense on something. It's like not worth the energy. And this is the day where you think, I need to put my focus somewhere else. What I love about this, again, because we're reading it on a holiday that celebrates renewal, is from the ashes of something that didn't work or something that took longer than expected, we have something very fruitful. So this is like very much the phoenix here on this card, rising up just in the form of the tree, because the tree is using the nutrients from whatever this was that didn't last down there, and it's basically feeding the tree, and that is the cycle of life. So Wednesday is a day of reclamation. It's a day to rise up from any challenge. It's a day to let go of things, to complete anything that you've really set your mind to. Movement in the biggest form so far is coming through in the midweek. You may need to also go the distance. It feels like you might start that trip the day prior, but typically 10 of Wands, it can be a travel card. It's one of them. And so bringing something to someone else, like a presentation or something like that. It's almost like a roadshow type thing. So great day for that kind of business travel as well. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Thursday. For Thursday, we have some of you needing a little bit of a break, the Hermit card. So the Hermit is great because it takes time to learn. So this is also a good day for research, school, training, advice, mentorship, anything where it's just about, I want to know, I need to know, I want to absorb this. So it's a great day for kind of soaking all of that in. And if you can still come out of your shell and have a great conversation with someone, but it does feel like you may benefit this day from working solo and working a little bit more in a silo. So there you go. It may also be hard to get people to answer their email, a text, the phone, or maybe you're just noticing that there's crickets. But this is not necessarily someone giving silent treatment. It could just be someone that is preoccupied with something else. So I think this isn't the best day for connections. It's the best day for deepening knowledge, experience, and if you want to go deeper on a project or do something productive, it's a great day for that as well. Okay, let's take a look now at Friday. Things are looking great on Friday. We have the King of Cups, and it's a serpent sort of in this one, or a dragon. So powerful heart energy coming forth. Flexibility is going to be tested a bit here. For some of you, there could be a little bit of resistance to being flexible, but that's going to be beneficial if you can just put yourself outside of your comfort zone. Love, relationships, getting someone to answer the phone, this is the day to do it. So forget about it on Thursday. Focus instead here on Friday. It's a receptive card because we have the cup upright. So people are more open to you. You're more open to what they have to say. Things can flow a little bit easier. And this is a water dragon. So again, things can go along swimmingly. I like all the energy that I see in this particular card. Great day for a date, for a social engagement, for a party, or just to go out and mix and mingle. So it's really nice that it feels like there's a nice little lesson here. We'll talk about it in highlights and lowlights, but we go outward, we kind of do some traveling, and then you kind of get back to the place where you can connect with others. It really starts to show up here on Saturday, next Saturday. We have Six of Cups. So this is a good day for family, because Six of Cups can be, loved ones, siblings, and children as well. But this can also be really deep friendships and love. So chosen family is what the Six of Cups can represent. Your bestie, where you may not have been born from the same family, but it's like you feel like a soul sister or soul brother with this person. This is also love in the highest form. So if you are in a new relationship, this would be a great day to spend with that person, because you can go a little deeper in that. You could meet someone that you have an immediate sort of affinity towards, and it's like soulmate energy, right? And that's also why we have the raven or crow on the top, representing something from the past or something from a higher source. Just a great day all around. Have some fun. Inner child energy, play. If you didn't get out and do something social on Friday, do yourself a favor and do it on Saturday. You can be productive if you want to. It'll be better if you do it with others on Saturday. So this is actually more of a team productivity thing. But having fun in and of itself is productive, folks. We just have lost that somewhere in the tomes of expertise here. And for whatever reason in modern day, it's like work, work, work. Or maybe it's a problem here mostly in the States, but we don't get enough time to just relax. So please do something fun on Saturday. You'll be glad that you did. You're probably going to have really good energy with others. 1 week from today, next Sunday, let's see what's going on. Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles, independent card, a card of sustainability and productivity, but it's reversed. So some of you have proven to yourself you can do it, but you're thinking, I don't need to always do everything all the time. Maybe you're a little more open to some of that partnership energy that we just talked about. It's very close to completion. And so one more pentacle brings it to the 10 of Pentacles, which is pretty awesome. So you might be open to receiving some assistance. It's reminding you of the importance of patience. My little snail is missing on this one, but it's still a symbol in the traditional one. So basically take some time. And one thing that's unique on this one is we have a little bird that's eating some of the seeds there. So take a moment to drink it in, to really taste where you're at, and sort of like enjoy the what's come to fruition. So gratitude is what I'm really trying to get at. This is a great day to be grateful for the progress, to treat yourself to something. So self-care, pampering energy coming through a little bit, because this card tells you deserve it. Basically, the Nine of Pentacles is the one card if someone says they want to invest or want to do something. So within budget, do a treat, even if it is just buying a coffee or something like that. Do something where you're like, This is for me. I deserve it. And you'll be happier then too, because it reminds you why you're working so hard. Let's look at highlights, overall energetic flow, and then I'll use the unicorn deck to look at the elements. Okay. So we'll start off with challenges first. I think the biggest challenge could be today and Monday because they are perspective shifts. Everything else is fairly manageable. So if you can get through the next 2 days, I like the flow of the rest of the week. I think the highlights are Friday and Saturday coming up. I think that you can get a lot done the rest of the week. I actually think Thursday could be your most productive day. And so overall, very manageable, no tower energy, no devil energy, no seven of swords. This is a good week. A lot of these sort of recalibration happens within, right? So let's go ahead now and move on to elements. This is the only part of today that's going to be specific to any sign. And by popular demand, we'll use the last unicorn deck for this one. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to use for the main spread. All right. So let's give the cards a shuffle. We'll just keep this weekly forecast here in case I need to cross-reference. Yeah, I see people talking about the retrograde. So yeah, it makes sense that we're having some calibration issues for that. But let's just focus on the elements for this week and see what's going on. I may do something retrograde specific this week. We'll see. Okay. Fire, with a lot of fire. Earth. Air. We got the star. And water. Some nice synchronicities here with some stuff that I chose. We talked about the Ten of Pentacles being like one step away. I like what we see here. Let's start off with fire signs first. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Very interesting that this Chariot card features so much fire. We can see the dragon energy coming forth. And so for some of you, this is reminding, sometimes it gets lost in the modern interpretation, so I'm happy that it shows up in this one. The Chariot is sometimes about fighting for what matters. When we think of, was it Roman chariots or whatever in war, it would be something where that would be one of the things leading the charge. So you could lead the charge on something that you care about, fight the good fight this week. Chariot also represents control. Some of you may be pulling the reins back in and saying, this is my moment or my thing, or this is what I believe in. And so you're basically just reclaiming power. And if someone does or says something that's wrong, you just push back and say, that's not how it's going to go. So it's just you finding your fire, your strength, using your energy, moving in the direction that you need to. And I do believe in going with the flow. I also believe that you can open up new channels. And when you need to open something up, it can take time to build. So it's kind of like constructing a house or something. You have to dig into the ground, you have to build the foundation, then everything starts to get easier. So for some of you in the fire sign sort of category, this might just be the initial stage of pushing through or breaking down a wall so that you can see what's on the other side. Progress is yours to have. The Chariot is a powerful card. It's in the major arcana. It's upright. It's showing that you have power potential. And I think as long as you continue with like the discipline that we talked about earlier, that's going to it's going to be good. In work, people may be acting a fool, or in other parts of your life, and you may have to push back on that as well and just say, cut it out. But otherwise, the Chariot is about taking control, making a path, and it is making, not taking. So making that path and then following through on it. Okay, so make sure that the follow through is there. But I felt very heartened when I saw the dragon for this, because we're looking at fire, and that's also throat chakra. So speaking up, using your voice can also create some of the openings that we talked about. I was listening to, there was like a news personality, I think it was like Hoda Kotb, talking about why she wanted to start a family. She heard someone else or saw someone else do it, and then she spoke it into existence. And then the universe started to kind of like show her, this is something you can have. And I do believe about like the importance of speaking your passion into existence, and also speaking what you desire. Like we talked about, this can be easier. Put that out there. This can be easier. I'm deserving of it. I'm ready. Show me where it's at, universe. So try that out. You can start off with something simple like show me where my coffee is, but then show me where the next path is. Exercise, try it out, see if it works for you. Let's move on to earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It's great time for relationships this week. We saw this on Friday and Saturday. So we had the King of Cups and the Six of Cups. Now you came through with just Two of Cups energy. Face-to-face meetings are going to be the best this week. If you need someone to say yes or sign on the dotted line, better to see them face-to-face. If you have something difficult to say, don't text, call, or see them. Texting isn't good. Emailing isn't good. We need the face-to-face piece. Very receptive energy when it comes to love, relationships, I'm sorry, I love you, any of those important things that need to be said or need to be done. Great week for love. If you're looking for love, great week to deepen existing relationships or heal and meet new people if you're kind of on the heels of an old relationship. So this is also magnetic, whether it's lovers, Two of Cups, Six of Cups, they're magnets. It basically means that when you put yourself out there, people are drawn to you. So you can use that also in business for those of you that are single and happy and just focusing on other things. It's still an important time to forge alliances and relationships. Can't get away from that in the Two of Cups. It's about people. It's just how you want to connect with people this week. So that's my sort of read on that. It's a great energy. Who doesn't want to get the Two of Cups to come through? It's a very positive card. There's nothing bad to be said. So have some fun, earth signs. You deserve it. All right, air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I am very happy that you got the star. That's nicely connected to what we talked about earlier. You got the unicorn as well on this card, which is reminding you to be singular and unique. It's reminding you of your magical qualities. Magic is real. You just have to believe in it. And so believe in yourself this week and reach for the stars. You are among them. You are the star. This is also alignment to higher purpose. So this week, as long as you are doing what you are sort of like passionate about, what you really feel like you can get behind, you're going to see some movement on that. And wow, this is also just like, it's one of the highest frequency cards I can get. Like the sun and the star are very, very, they're resplendent, they're bright, they're powerful. So you have the ability this week also to make a significant splash, retrograde or not. Life doesn't stop for the planets. One day I'll put that on a t-shirt. It really doesn't. So I like to focus my readings on no matter where the planets are, just kind of like what can we do this week so that we don't get too much in our heads about all of the planetary movements, because I'm an intuitive, a tarot reader, and yeah, I know a bit about astrology, but I really do believe that we are agents of our own free will, and this is reminding you of that ability as well, okay? So make a splash this week, air signs, you've got this, and you have one of the most powerful cards here in the weekly forecast so far. Okay, let's take a look at water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. We have the Ten of Pentacles. So things are coming to fruition. Things are coming along nicely here. I really do believe you have a chance to finish something, complete something that you've started, or get the assistance or the monetary or resource support that you're looking for. This is also connected to marriage and contracts. So if you need to propose or if you are looking to put something out there, pitch an idea or sign a contract for work, good week for that kind of energy. And, you know, always discern things and make sure that you're getting what you deserve. But with the Ten of Pentacles, you typically are. Okay. Let's see what else I want to talk about in this. So there is a lot of focus on the coins in this card. And to me, the Ten of Pentacles, it gets a little bit lost in this when we can see it a bit. There's always an archway. It's about what you're building, not just what you're making, like making in the money, but what are you actually constructing and making in the world. I didn't care about this as much when I was younger, and I worked in jobs where a lot of what I put out energetically was disposable. Like I worked in digital marketing companies, sometimes even for big studios, where building websites for TV brands that don't even exist anymore, and stuff like that, where I think that was a lot of energy to kind of go in the digital heap. So make sure that what you're doing makes a difference, touches people, makes you happy, does something in that category. because it isn't just about the coins, it's about the impact. And that's what this card is reminding you as well, is what's the impact, what's the difference, if that's something that moves you. Otherwise, it can be the team around you. So I was thinking back to an old job, actually, like when I was waiting tables in high school. I didn't like the job, but I liked the people, and that made it worth it. So something has to be there that's making, it's beyond the money. So what is it that's keeping you in the current path beyond the money? And then just take it from someone who's been working for a while, like think 10 years down the line. Will what I'm doing today matter? It'll help you manage your stress, by the way. Will anyone remember if this deadline is missed or not? If not, then don't worry about it. Like there's bigger problems in the world. There are bigger things to focus on. And I think sometimes we just get way too mired down in someone else's manufactured drama. And I wish I could go back and tell the younger me, just don't worry about it. Because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. There are other things that do matter, making time for your family or for a friend, or doing something that helps heal somebody. These things will matter also in a karmic sort of record keeping thing. So think of the Akashic records, think of the long-term stuff. This is good for everybody, not just for my water signs out there. And it's going to help you figure out, how much should I stress about this? How much power does this person really have? So food for thought. We're going to move on to special topic today. Again, it's the Phoenix. So we can assume that for some of you, there may have been something that didn't work out or something that's already done. And now you're like, what's next? This also works for those of you that are retired. You're thinking, what's next? Coming out of a relationship, what's next? Did the biggest thing you ever thought you would. You won your gold medal. What's next? So we're really looking at that, renewal and rebirth. And someone made a comment that was, I was like, whatever. They said, it's a little on the nose to do that. Yeah, right. But like, it's what we should be focusing on today. So we're going to focus on it because everybody universally goes through something where it's like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do or how I rise above. So on the nose or not, I think it's perfect for today. So take a deep breath, relax. I'm going to pick a deck of cards and we're going to have some fun today. I think we might use this. Although sometimes, perhaps that. Okay. I may do fountain because many of you have said you like this, so we're going to work with the fountain deck today because it also has a nice sort of airy energy to it. So close your eyes if you will. Let's take a deep breath and let's move beyond whatever disappointment or frustration may be in our hearts or minds and focus on opening up. That was very nicely aligned to the 8 of Swords. So we're going to try to transmute the 8 of Swords and the 4 of Cups and see what's out there. Very interesting how much this 9 of Pentacles keeps coming through, right? So for the people that keep wanting to know about like healing is also in this energy, because if there is disappointment or loss or anything, I mean, I really feel like part of that's here. And I do plan on doing some more member videos. Let me finish pulling and we'll talk about that. I don't want to get distracted, and then we'll focus on this first. All right, again, focusing on rising up. That's very appropriate to come through. Whenever we're healing, we need to look at the shadow. All right, this is a powerful spread, perfectly aligned, I believe, for today. Okay, before I get into everything, I'm going to pause quickly and then I'll focus. I do plan on doing a few more member videos. I know sometimes members want something different. Maybe I'll give them something different in shorter form, maybe like a half-hour special topic on some things that haven't been selected. So I do read the comments. I do see that some of you want some different things like inner child healing, love, and other things like that. So I may test it out and do member first or members only stuff. So just know I'm reading the comments and I'll figure it out. I just had a lot this month. I launched a podcast and there was a lot of promotion I had to do for that. And there's a lot of videos per day, so I do my best. But I will try to weave some of those in the next month. And I'm also trying to find an apartment. So just bear with me. But I am reading and planning and trying to figure out how it'll all work out. It will work out. Have faith. All right, let's start off with the Catalyst card first. Catalyst. This is basically your opportunity to spark some movement in your life. We have the Protection card here, Lord Ganesha coming through. And so for some of you, both the biggest challenge and opportunity in this moment is protecting what matters most to you. You may also be doing things, it's kind of like the Police song where you're building a fortress around your heart, right? And you're trying to protect yourself. We want just enough protection, not to the point that it becomes so much of a hermit energy that people can't penetrate through that moat and walls. So that's one thing that I'm picking up on with the protection energy here is just enough, not too much, if that makes sense to all of you. I think that's the main takeaway on this one, but it's also saying from a universal and an angelic realm, you are protected. You as a person, your ideas, your passions, just hold them close, nurture them, and know that together you're protected. And then just enough protection. We can't walk around in, I just watched the Dune reboot, Dune Part 2, but like they have those little force fields. We don't have force fields like that. We have our own sort of energy and auric fields that we can have, but we don't have that level of protection. So know that to be out in the real world is to be able to touch other people, to connect with others, to send and receive. So find that perfect mix and don't go overboard. All right, let's look at your center card. I mean, this makes a lot of sense for this special topic. Like I said, it's overcoming this. Sadness, disappointment, something that just didn't work the way that we wanted it to. That is definitely Three of Swords energy. What I love about this Three of Swords is it's shown in water, right? Liquid. It's the more emotional one. It's interesting that Cups is emotions, but isn't there so much emotion in swords? Like Three of Swords, Five of Swords, Seven of Swords. It's all about like betrayal and sadness and disappointment and stress and all these. It's emotions. Swords is emotions, folks. So it makes sense that we have some water on this card too. So don't let the tide pull you in too much here with the Three of Swords. It takes time. It takes time. And what I've learned in my own connections with disappointment, with grief, with upset is I try to see what's going on. And then I also try to focus on being present and doing something in the real world to continue to move me forward, just like we see with these waves behind the Three of Swords. So keep building movement and momentum for tomorrow, for something else, and keep breathing, clearing, talking, and healing through whatever it is today that is still kind of holding you in your zone. Time does heal. It takes time, but it does get better. And this card is just reminding you of moving through it slowly at your own pace, but creating the momentum and movement in other areas of your life that will carry you on past this moment, okay? And then we have the renewal and the birthing energy right on top of it, the sun, little baby. Couldn't be more sort of antithetical or different from the previous card than this. So we have this little kid swinging on the sun rays. I love it. And it is reminding you now, today is the day to do something new. Either to set the seed of intention, because it is the sun's day. By the way, sun days are great too. I was talking to someone that works a little bit more with like magic and energy and setting intentions on Saturday, it's Saturn's day. Saturn is not really the energy you want to have when you're planting a seed because it's all about lessons, and I hadn't thought of that before. Sunday, even though we think of it as an end of our week and we don't do a lot, it's a great day to plant seeds. The sun is central to our solar system. It represents you, your solar plexus, birthing, and it's a good energy to create under. So this is really, really good. Today is a day where you can get a lot done. So this is very relevant for now and nicely connected to that Ace of Pentacles that I put at the end of my my channel messages. So I'd love for you today, you don't have to write it down, but it'd be great if you could say it out loud in the shower, while you're walking your dog, whisper it, I don't care. State your intention, state your wish, say something positive. Put the affirmation out in the universe today, and the sun will receive it and radiate it, okay? And this is how you start to rise above. You say, I'm ready for something better. I'm ready to move on. Enough. This is also something you can do in the wake of this. Enough now. Let's move forward. There's a line in that Christmas show that I can't remember now that has like 9 different vignettes to it. Love Actually. The guy that writes on all the cards, he realizes his obsession after he says that, the guy from The Walking Dead, something Lincoln. But anyway, he goes to the Keira Knightley character, says his heart's desires and knows it's not going to go anywhere. And then he's like, all right, enough. He tosses the stuff and moves on. Sometimes we just have to get it out. So if you just have to get it out and talk to someone, do it, but then enough. And then move on to birthing something new, okay? Deep Past, Hierophant. This is about getting out of the box that you built for yourself, potentially. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes we make our own boxes. And this is your chance to escape the box. One of my favorite singers when I was in college was Tori Amos, and her original album, she was always in these boxes trying to get out of them. Was it like Little Earthquakes? I think that's even in the cover of it, the album artwork. But it was about breaking through the boxes, and I always thought that was a really cool metaphor. And then I remember in the future, she's like, people still want to put me back in that box, and it's not going to happen. So being unconventional, just allowing yourself to break through your own boundaries are going to be really important. And by the way, thanks. It was Andrew Lincoln. I knew Lincoln was in the name somewhere. So yeah, Hierophant, this is your chance to, if you made it, you can break it. You can remake it. You can reforge it. Think of yourself as like Vulcan or Hephaestus being at the, the forge. And you're taking the materials, melting it down and saying, all right, now that I have stated I'm done with that, what do I want to build next? Then we have King of Wands in reverse. It's being open. King of Wands reverse is very stubborn and very closed-minded. You can even see he's kind of rigid and he's kind of stuck between all of these lines here. So I feel like we're trying to get you out of your rigidity, your stuck or stagnant energy, thinking it has to happen this way or it's not going to happen, or whatever the self-fulfilling mantras are and prophecies, we're going to break them and we're going to remake them. So this is also very much a reforging energy, not just rebirthing. Okay. 9 of Cups. It's upright. It's good. It's saying that if sometimes, not always, but unless you're a highly evolved human being, maybe like the Dalai Lama or Jesus or someone like that, but 9 of Cups. Typically, we have to go through difficult times to sometimes appreciate the great times. So good and bad energy help give us perspective. And sometimes if it's just smooth sailing, you don't realize how smooth that sailing is. But when there's a little ripple, you're like, oh, this is good. I want to stay here. And so if you can take the challenging moments and say, it's context. It's just context. It helps me become more compassionate, more understanding, more forgiving. As I'm saying it, I'm fine. But for some reason, I almost want to cry. So some of you are going through. That's for me as a medium, like a universal truth that I tap into. If I suddenly, for no reason, want to cry, some of you are, you're going through a moment. So I just want to let you know, it is not something that is going to be forever. And it will be something that you can look back on and think, like I did this, right? So when you get through that and you and you do whatever it is you set your mind to do, take a moment and have some fun, have a party, enjoy the good as well. It's okay to go through the challenging pieces, but know that something really good is on the horizon. And it's really, when you get to that moment, don't let anybody make you feel bad for taking a moment to drink it in, okay? And that's what this Nine of Cups is celebration. And yeah, I don't know why I want to cry, but I do. So for some of you, let's just take a deep breath together. Let it out, let it go. And like that character in Love Actually, enough, right? Enough now. Another thing, because I just watched that, I just watched Dune Part 2. I'm also listening to the audiobook. I forgot. I read it as a kid, but it's actually a cool story. They have something in the movie where they're like, don't waste the water. Like, don't. Sometimes when we cry enough over something, it's true. Like on a planet where there is no water, it's like, save the water. It's not worth it. I believe we should process our emotions, laugh, cry, sweat, whatever you need to do to get the energy out. But there is a point where you've exhausted it. And so if you're there, just know that it's okay. We can let go of the pain too. I think I talked about it in Pisces because I just read last night. Sometimes we can wear our pain or our mourning energy as a sort of protective cloak. And once we let that go, then we're a little bit open, but it's okay to move past the mourning. All right. Six of Pentacles. We start to see things moving, growing, taking shape, taking form. Yeah. Balance and discernment. That's the most important thing with the Six of Pentacles. Let's pull the traditional card. It does a better job. I like everything in this deck, maybe except the Death card and the Six of Pentacles, because you can't quite see what's going on here. What I like about the Six of Pentacles is we can see some things coming to fruition and growing. But what you need to do to maintain the growth and also understand how to manage your resources is say no. So here we go. It's one of the cards that has balance in it. You have like Two of Pentacles where they're trying to find balance, Justice where she's holding the scales, and the Six of Pentacles where they're also holding the scales. So outstretched hands, people are saying, can I have some more? But they want more of your time, energy, love, attention. There's only so much in a given day one can give. We do have finite stores of energy. For any of you that have tried to pull an all-nighter for any reason, you know what I'm talking about, or drive through the night. It was funny. As a little kid, I remember asking my parents, what would it be like to skip a night of sleep? They were like, why don't you try? Go ahead. And I would always be like asleep by 9 o'clock. But when I then got to college and had to work until 2 or 3 in the morning for a project, I'm like, it sucks. That's what it's like. I don't want to skip a night. I need the rest. I don't know what that younger me thought would be happening, but it's not this. So know how much you can give. Say no when it becomes unrealistic. The good news, and this is a good news card, is you have enough. You have more than enough. You can't have everything you want at once, but you can have it over time. So the triangle that we always talk about, it's either going to be time, scope, or budget. Something has got to be adjusted here, but it's reasonable, it's doable. This is the card that I look for financially when something is being launched. I'm like, okay, you can do this. You got to make some choices. You might have to do a little more work at the beginning, then hire slowly. You might have to just scale down and launch one product, then a few. In your own life, it's sort of saying, I can afford this, not that. If I save up and plan ahead, I can do the trip then. It's just about being strategic and saying also, that's too much. That's too much right now. I want it, but that's not what I need right now. It's not that you can't have it. You probably could, but then it would throw you in the imbalanced energy, and we don't want that. So it's want versus need. That's really what this is asking you to look at, okay? Four of Pentacles, here we go. Four of Pentacles is typically holding on in the heart space. Here we have someone saving for a snowy or rainy day, and we are all, I think that's good. It's good to have contingency. I think that one thing that you want to be mindful of with this is, making sure, by the way, let me look here real quick. Do I still have the special topic up? Sorry, back to live mode. Didn't mean to have that. No, I didn't. Okay, good. I just looked on my preview and it was off on the side. Four of Pentacles, what I was saying is sometimes we focus too much on fear-based savings. So if you're saving forever for the rainy day, but never allowing yourself to live in the present or to let let yourself sort of be vulnerable, it gets in the way. So I think that's one thing that you want to be mindful of here is not holding on too tightly to things. This is also saying when it comes to making some of these decisions, what you want to do is, if anyone in your life isn't giving you your worth, and trust me, the Four of Pentacles is not what you're worth, it's easy to say no. I need more for this to work. That's all you have to say. I'm worth more if you're feeling bold, or I'm doing this much work, and so either I need to do a lot less or you need to adjust what you're paying me. And if it's just a person in your life, we take it out of the context of jobs, and it's a relationship, and you're giving 110, 120%, and the other person is phoning it in at 50% or something. It's just an easy decision. Just say, I need you to show up a little bit more than you are. Leave it at that. You don't have to ask them if they will or if they can or what they think about it. One of the things I don't know why I'm feeling so emboldened this month, but it's the power of stating a truth. Just say it. Don't color it. This is what I need. This is what's reasonable. I need this from you. You don't have to say, can you come through? They know that. They can infer it. So in a good negotiation, be powerful, direct, and strong, and just say, let's do it, right? Like, put it out in affirmatives. Neutral, and if not neutral, then affirmative. And already like Jedi mind trick it out there that this is what it needs to be. So really sort of like try that approach in negotiations, because it's possible. We have the Two of Wands here, and for whatever reason here, this is you. I need you to move beyond seeing less, and it might have come from the past or whatever, who knows. We're breaking through this, we're reforging it. So we're gonna get you into the more mindset. So the Two of Wands is something we don't do all the time as an adult. We do it as children because when we're very, very young, we have this ability to think, I want to be a ballerina, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a lawyer, a fireman, whatever. We think about the world in the terms of possibilities. And then when we are usually getting further along in our education, they're like, you're very good at math, you're very good at English. Have you thought about this? And then you start to think of career trajectories. For some reason, once we're through our 20s, nobody asks us, nobody cares anymore. What do you want to do next? And we get stuck. We have to do it for ourselves. So if you're 20 or older, and that's a lot of people that are watching this. I've seen my analytics. No, there's not a lot under 20, but for those that have already gone through college and are in your life at some point, you are being asked to decide, what do I want next? Because you never stop growing up. You never stop growing up. So you are allowed to change and evolve. And the Two of Wands, like we see, it's almost like two chopsticks. What do I want to sample next? Taste this. Does this taste good? How about that? You have to try new things, just like in food. Otherwise, you're going to have the same thing every day and you're going to get malnourished. So this is inviting you to sample everything at the buffet of the world. And the world card is the final card, so it's not an accident that I'm saying that. So if nobody's asked you in a minute, I'm asking you, what do you want to do next? Do you like what you're doing? What do you want to do next? And what do you want to do to make a difference? How do you want to make a difference in your life? And it doesn't have to be like changing the world. For some of us, it could simply be something like this. I want to have, stability in my life. I want to be a parent. I want to start a business. Because in that, you're actually showing the ability to create, to sustain, there's a lot of pieces. When you say just, you're actually doing a lot. But I'd like you to focus on primary goal and then planetary goal. So planetary goal could be things like teaching or healing. They're bigger, they're broader. Primary goal could be something like, I want to increase my FICO score, something like that. Something that's easier to do and very direct and very material, but the planetary goal is bigger and it's going to pull in a lot of other things. So work on that this month, not just this week, and think about the planetary piece. When you are gone, what would your epitaph say? What would people remember you by? And it could be that you had a great sense of humor and you made people laugh. For the comedians out there, it's a good thing. We need comedy. For those of you that are artists, it's to inspire, to get people to dream, to see an escape from whatever their reality is. That's important. So it does not, you don't have to be doing it on a like big scale political sort of thing. It can just be through the art, through the stuff, through the things that you say. how are you making a difference? This is a deep reading today. I don't know how we got so deep, but it's deep. So I really want you to focus on the planetary piece. That'll help you get all of the little tiny stuff aligned, okay? I feel like I've talked the Nine of Pentacles to death, but here she is again. It's a good card. Let me turn the camera back down and let's look at the progression of things. This is you, Four of Pentacles, limiting through thoughts or just kind of like putting up with stuff. I talked about this in Pisces yesterday, so it's good that I just remember this. This is also the devil you know. You're holding on to something because it's safe. But what we're going to do is go forth and say no to some things, speak up and say, this is what I need, this is what's going to happen. And then look at what you create. More. You create abundance. More than enough. It's more than just more. It's more than enough. And look at how it's radiating out like this seashell. You're creating things that can be sustainable and that you can build on in the future. Can't tell if it's a hawk or whatever. But this is also a time to send out for more support if you need it. Because we have the world here in the outcome here. And it's really great that we go from the Three of Swords to the world. So when I say this week, especially if you can do it today on the sun's day, if you say you're done with something and you're ready for something new and really plant the seed, then it grows. And then it's a different world. And you can look at it from a different perspective. You may need to get into the hanged man position here, using the tarot cards to kind of see this, which is to pause, to reflect, and to meditate, just like Odin did on that card. Or just sort of like turn your perspective in a different way and think, well, how about this or how about that? It can be bigger than you imagine. That's what this world is saying. In the upright position, you're in it. You're in the flow. But in this one, you're on the precipice, right on the edge of something breaking through. And this card can indicate so many positive things, but a physical move, a paradigm shift, a eureka moment where you really break through. It can be a breakthrough. It can also be, for some of you, Spirit wants me to say unsettling. So it's uncomfortable and unsettling how quickly something is happening. You're prepared, but you're not prepared. And that's kind of true of really big things when they happen. So we have the dream, we hold the wish, we're like, gosh, I wish this would happen. And then when love comes rushing in, when you win the lotto, when someone taps on your shoulder and they say, it's your turn, you're like, me? Now? But I'm not dressed and I'm not ready. Now. It's now. So I get that feeling of be prepared, because the moment will happen and we want you to be prepared for something to break through or break out a lot faster, bigger, and sooner than you imagine. I think that's everything I need to say on the world card. Of course, in business, it's like, it's globalization, it's outreach, it's publication, it's distribution, it's all those positive things. But for some reason with it reversed, the lens is not in the right direction. We need to think bigger. And hopefully I've got you there. I'm going to go a little lighter in the expanded forecast because we went super deep in this spread. So I'll touch gently upon each of these categories. You can always look at your monthly for a little bit more since I just wrapped them up. But now let's briefly touch into health, wealth, love, and destiny, because I probably could talk all day, as you guys know, to try to be reined in a little bit here. So health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's begin first with your health card, mind, body, and spirit. Peace and harmony. Amen to that, Archangel Raphael. So Raphael is, it's Raguel. So I'm getting some new glasses soon. Thank you, Raguel, for surrounding my life in harmonious light. Card is in reverse. Many of you have been the light, the battery, or the source for others. And this is also reminding you to shine the light within. Now, I think I saw Raphael because that is a great energy, or great healing angel. So you can work with both. Raguel and Raphael, because this one is going to bring you the peace and harmony. The other one is going to help you heal things. And since we got the Three of Swords, I think that angel still comes forth. Surrounding my life in a harmonious light. So let's really think about surrounding yourself with things that resonate in that energy of light. Do you enjoy the people you spend your time with, or do they create friction? Does the job that you work at for 40, 50, however many hours per week bring joy, or does it bring not the opposite? Your living situation, does it spark joy or does it create tension? Where are the areas in your life where the shadows exist? Because I think it's the very next thing that came through. We have to look at the shadow this month. So I love that we got shadow and light right on top of each other. So wherever the shadow energy is, shine the light on it and say it needs to change or I need to move in a new direction. So you know where the friction is. Now is the time to deal with that. This is the month. This is the time. This is the day. Okay, let's just look at the cards overall and see what might be coming through from a general wellness perspective, looking at it holistically, energetically, because that's what I read here is the energy. Okay. Frustration over how long it takes to launch, birth, or create. And for some of you, it's creating stress. So stress based on a goal. Let's let go of it a bit and let things happen when they have to happen or when they're meant to happen. Here's the cool thing. It's going to happen. Just not exactly in the time, way, shape, or form. And that's the constraints of the Six of Pentacles. So there's just a little anxiety, a little bit of stress, wishing that you could push it through faster, but it is what it is in that respect, and we have to kind of work with what's available and then open up some new channels. For some of you, we could take it literally. There may have been a pregnancy that didn't come to term. There could have been someone that rejected you in love. There could have been just you're putting too high of a bar of expectation on yourself. These things weren't necessarily in your control, except the latter. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. The inner child just wants to be free. So let's take the next step towards healing. And I felt it. I wanted to cry with you and for you, but I also wanted you to see all of this stuff too. So there's better things ahead, and that's the main thing. We're going back to emotional. It feels to me like it's emotional healing this week and this month. The rest of the cards are pretty good, folks. Achieving better balance with your time. I feel like some of you, especially with these two cards, you're either overcommitted or you're doing something that exhausts you and not in a way that's going to change. It's not like working out and you're strengthening your body and it'll get better over time. Sometimes we're just putting energy into a sink, like a time or an energy sink, and it's like an anchor. And we just did that the previous week, letting go of anchors. There's still one anchor here that seems to be pulling a little bit. Once you move beyond it though, look at what's here. Two of Wands, which is manifestation, Nine of Pentacles in the world. So I definitely see an uptick here. Something has to be released. Something needs to be, you need to let go of, and that's going to open everything up for you once you do that. Let's see what else. The rest is good. This card is telling me that some of you are you're overthinking things, and it's kind of like the rabbit hole of like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And you start to stress out unnecessarily. And this math meme thing happens where it just never stops. So don't worry about things that haven't happened, that may or may not happen, that are out of your control. Just focus on the here and the now and focus on the next step and how to get between the two. And I think that's the key thing. So it's fairly manageable for health. If there's anything that's taking away from the peace or harmony, that's where the focus goes. Moving on to wealth. I look at this holistically. This is basically your connection to time, energy, and money. It's something that we all deal with, whether we are a student, retired, or working. The shadow. There's some fear. There's some anxiety. Will I have enough? Why don't I have more? Can I ask for more? Will I be okay? All the things that most of us will think about from time to time. She's just, this sort of shadow deity is just saying, yes, more. Keep feeding the energy of the shadow. And meanwhile, Raguel is coming through saying, stop it. Stop. So the meme that I just showed you, the thoughts are going too far. What we want to really do with respect to wealth is educate. We had the Hermit energy coming through. So the day of the week associated with the Hermit, that's the perfect day. I think it was like Thursday. Rewind and take a look. But that's the day to do the research. And then work with others. I mentioned a week, like next Saturday, is a great day to partner up. get a mentor if you need to, be a mentee, learn from others. Education is the main thing here, and talking it out with others too, so that you're not stuck in that cyclical energy in your head. And fear is something that it works in concert with the devil. It keeps us still. What I see is that there's nothing to fear. You just have to open your mind and open this sort of box, or this sort of it's basically you paint yourself in a corner, so you have to just paint yourself out of that corner. Explore the possibilities. You have a chance of getting a lot of what it is that you seek or ask for. You may have to move physically out of a job or move to a new place to get this, but it's worth it. We're going to go, again, super high level. I just got through the monthlies. They go much deeper into wealth, but I'm going to go high level into wealth. For those that are currently working, the main thing here could be morale or dissatisfaction or disappointment because you didn't get what you asked for. So maybe someone just didn't follow through on what they said they would. Get it in writing if you're going to stick around, or look elsewhere. This time, let's get it ironclad, because you should get it. So it's not about an ultimatum. It's just about realizing that if it doesn't happen, you don't have to stay. You can find it elsewhere. So get your safety net in place. Look around if you need to, or just remind someone, I was counting on this. This needs to come to fruition. So you'll figure out a way to negotiate and find your voice. But for those of you looking for that, that's the main thing. Otherwise, there could just be one little hiccup, and it's reminding you, like for my entrepreneurs out there, or for people who are like, oh, the morale's okay, the money's okay. This is just something didn't work. Well, try again. That's how it works. It's like riding a bike. I didn't learn until I was older, and we moved around a little bit when I was a kid, and it wasn't until we moved to like the East Coast for a bit. One of my neighbors, I think I was almost 10 or something. It was really late. She's like, you don't know how to ride your bike? She said, I'll show you. We can do it in a day. And we did. And I had a hill where I used to live. She's like, we're just going to go down the hill, and I'll be there and I'll help you out. And then eventually I was riding my bike. It was really cool. So you can do it at any age, and you just have to keep trying. And even if you're embarrassed, like, why did it take so long? I just didn't have a normal bike because it was something my parents didn't buy me. And then when we did, I'm like, I don't know how to ride this. So if you don't know, figure it out. And also, again, sometimes with expectations, my friend's Jedi mind trick for me worked. She was like, we can do this in a day. Just trust me. And so we spent all day, and then I wasn't a great rider of that bike. It probably took me a week to master it, but I was doing it. Because it's balance, right? That's what it really is on a bike. You have to find your balance and then create your momentum. It's a nice metaphor for what some of you might be trying to do. So just pick yourself up like the Phoenix, get on that bike, start riding. You're going to be okay. Let's move on to those that are seeking a job. And by the way, one last thing for those that are working, you might be doing too much at your present job. Let them need or miss you or want you a little bit so that you can use that as a negotiation tactic, because you're overdoing it. You're over delivering. And if you keep doing that, they're just going to think that's normal. So that's one last message. If you're looking for work, I can see disappointment sometimes when you're unemployed or job seeking, and it's like, I'm not hearing anything. You may even be thinking, I'm not getting any younger. Please erase those thoughts. I think what is important here is some of you might actually combine a couple of jobs. So if the main focus is just getting some income coming in and then still seeking out that perfect job, we're in a society now where there are people that work 2 or 3 jobs, a gig employment or self-employment or working with an agency. You could try that, because I do see pieces that almost create the whole that we see here, but they're not forever because they don't add up perfectly. So I do think you're going to find what you're looking for, but there might be one short-term thing that will give you the confidence and the ability to be pickier to find this. And we have the number 9 here. It's a good news card. It could take 9 days or 9 weeks. I know you're like, Nicholas, I don't want to hear that. But so it's either a week and a half or it might be like a month and a half, but it's within recent, like it's within reach. It's not going to take forever, ever. That's why it might be good to do something to tide you over if it's the longer of the two, just to make sure that you're happy. And again, moving or traveling or telecommuting. There's something about location that will help you find what you're looking for. if you are retired, seeing the world is one thing, and it is having fun and reconnecting with that inner child. Seeing the world doesn't have to be stepping on a plane. It can just be deciding to explore your own city, your own country a little bit more. You're okay. Many of you have done okay here with this. There's going to be a lot of hands that are open. If you've worked really hard to save, especially for those of you that have done well, you have to be discerning, because investments are the only place that you're getting money now, since you're not necessarily working a 9-to-5 job. So you have to vet that out. It's okay to say no to certain things and certain people and say, no, I can't give any more than I have, because you earned what you got, right? Also, try something amazingly different. Go out, try a new restaurant, do something you've never done before, dance, martial arts, I don't care, because I'm thinking of movement here, but something that you haven't done, that's what's going to really kind of spark magic and energy and movement in your life. Students, before we move on, do you like what you're doing? I always like to remind students that you have a lot of, especially if you're in freshman or sophomore year, you can navigate a bit. 3 of Swords could just be, you're stressed out. You're going to be all right in the long run. One thing that I did see for students last night was a test, and I was feeling unprepared for the test. Do study for the test. You'll be fine, but you can't wing the test. I was like, why am I studying? Because it was associated with the dance thing. But you'll be fine, but there are some things where you're like, I'll just go to this party or do that. No, please study. I see you being okay, but it's the difference between like 60% and 90%, the studying. So I'd rather you get like an A and not a D. So let's go for the studying. All right, let's move on. Let's go to love and relationships. In love and relationships, we have doubt. You could be wondering, for those of you single, is it going to happen? For those of you in a relationship, did I choose the right person? Just in general, like, you may not trust somebody, so we're going to look at that. I release the need to know all the answers. Amen to that. Even when you're intuitive, some things are not going to be shown because you can get in your own way sometimes. Spirit will only show you so much. This is true in love, by the way. So you may wonder how it works with mediumship. You can see a person coming, but you may not see their face. You can see the general energy of where that may happen, but you may not see everything. So I've seen people coming before, and I can see hair color, I can hear the voice, I can sometimes hear the language if it's a foreign language, and I may even see the city, but I won't see the face. Because some things are not meant to be seen, because you don't want to get in the way of already knowing that that's the person. The universe sometimes wants you to kind of like have to feel it out a little bit. So everybody's going to have to wonder, like, is this the one? Is this it? Just move through it. This is where you're not trusting this, you're trusting this, okay? Let me take a drink of my disappearing, reappearing coffee, and then we're going to talk through this. Okay, let's look at this in 3 different perspectives. Those in a relationship looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship, there may have been a fight. 3 of Swords is not the end of the world. It can be if you want it to be. It could also just be making a mountain out of a molehill. So don't overplay something. Try to approach it with as positive an attitude as possible. 9 of Cups can go either direction. Let's lead with love. If there was an argument, let's hear the other person's side. Let's weigh out, both perspectives and both people's role in this, and figure out how to work through it. I mean, this is a very adult way to handle an argument. It's saying, all right, how are we going to deal with this? Where are we going to go next? Because I'm here for the long haul. I always want to see the 2 of Wands in a love reading, because it means that you see a future with someone. Because this is a forward-looking card. So if you talk to your partner and say, I don't want this to happen again, we're going to work through this, we're going to see this through. These types of communications are very reassuring, but they're also very direct. Like, don't let it happen again. But it means that I'm still here. I haven't left, but you've tried my patience. So just find ways to communicate that you're not going anywhere, but you may be displeased. So here's what I see as causing potential tension. As a partnership, The Hierophant and the King of Wands in reverse, these are very similar energies. My way or the highway. The typical Hierophant has two people at his feet listening to him. He's used to being the boss. The King of Wands is the boss. He would sit in the same court as the Emperor and Empress and the Hierophant. And we can also put the Queen of Wands there too. They're all bosses. And unfortunately, sometimes bosses butt heads and don't agree. So there's probably, you got to have some concession here for this to work out. Someone is going to have to say, I think we could have done it better. Let's just move forward, etc. And compromise. Compromise is the key thing. Finances could be agitating things a bit. How much your partner is showing up could be agitating things a bit too. Like, feels like one or both of you may feel like you're doing more than the other. Again, based on what I'm seeing here, there's a grain of truth, but it might be you're both offering different things to this perspective. Some of you are just ready to take it to the next level, and you're afraid to ask. This can be very positive. I am afraid, but I want to put myself out there, and I want to see this go to the next level because I feel great joy. Sometimes this person drives me a little bit crazy, but I also love them. That's the kind of read that I'm getting on that. So there are some communication things. There are some moments. There's a lot to love. There's a lot to work through. Do you want to do the work? That's up to you. All right. For those of you that are looking for love right now, okay. I think the first thing that you need to do is just focus on personal healing and also not worrying so much about the presence or absence of the partner. Because when you stop focusing on it, the person just kind of swings into the energy. And that's what I see here. It can happen just like that. But if you want it too much and you want it too immediately, it kind of like suppresses the manifestation of it. And so that's the main thing here is frustration over the appearance of someone. So what you want to do instead is affirm, I'm more than enough for myself. I don't need anybody else, but I'd like someone else in my life. I'm ready. I'm ready now. But I'm also completely satisfied and whole as is. I am my better half as well. Like, you're not looking for some missing piece. So if you can kind of put that out there today on the sun's day, that will help. The kind of energy, first of all, there's a couple of strong energies from the past. And the thematic thing that I'm seeing here is control. We had the Chariot that came through for some of you earlier. Was it my fire signs? Definitely for you, I get that theme of control. Allowing things to just be, you need to be freer in the next relationship. You can't have somebody that is trying to kind of control or lecture you. So moving towards this autonomy, you're both, the sun is a baby. It's also the most powerful thing in our solar system. So having the inner child shine through and also just being, as an adult, we're grown up, but we're just a grown up kid, right? So seeing this sort of combination of the two is important so that you can be free, you can have fun, and you don't have to be parented by the next partner. Can they be coming through? Yes. I think it might be a week or two off. Like, we're looking at a week. Two of Wands is in the future. So let it go a little bit. This person hasn't arrived yet. They're coming. Let's not rush them. They may need to travel to your location, to where you're at. You may need to travel to them. What you can focus on in the meantime is how you're spending your time and energy. I'll call it as I see it, and I don't see them right now, but I see them coming. So all of that stuff I was talking about, I was getting different city, different language, different background. I feel like that might be true for many of you that are calling in a partner. So be open to that different background and that different life experience. If you are retired, let's see what's coming through for you. Not retired. You might be retired and single and happy. So those of you that are like widowed, widowers, or just single and happy, and you're like, not focusing on that right now. This is for you. It's a good time right now for development. Like, this is one of the best cards for making money, learning things, doing things, getting really far along that path. You're just like one step from completion. So I feel like this is a period during which you can get a lot done. You can do it on your own. That is a fiercely independent card. Remember what I said though, like Saturday of this upcoming week, that's a great day to partner. But we did get the Hermit. We do have the Nine of Pentacles. I do feel like you can get a lot done on your own right now if you'd like to. I also think that exploring different places, like some of you might want to move for work to be more productive. Maybe you've outgrown where you're living, you know, and it's time. I mean, we're looking at relationships, but because we're not looking at relationships, I'm seeing work in this. So there's a chance to expand by moving, and if you're unattached, this is a great time to do that, or to travel, all of that. So it's actually a pretty good time if you are not seeking any sort of relationship energy, because you can get much further ahead in developmental stuff. Let's move on to destiny. This is interesting. Fire ant. Fire ants are great if you don't anger them. They represent community. It's a colony. It's cooperative. A lot's happening. They represent strength. Ants can lift several times their own weight. But yeah, like any sort of hive mentality, you may need to radiate out of that in order to find who you are. These seashell levels are almost like, what am I thinking? Orbits. And you have to kind of like pull yourself out of someone's orbit to see that. And group think or pressure, group pressure, peer pressure can sometimes come through here. And ultimately what Spirit's saying is know when to fight and then know when not to rock the boat. And you may be in a situation where people, they don't celebrate diversity, and especially diversity of opinion, and they'll just kind of like pummel on you and get a bunch of people to do the same. So there are situations where you're like, I'm not going to upset the fire ants. I'm going to move in a different direction. If I'm going to do from a safe distance. I'm not going to be right on top of the nest. So know your audience, know the fights that are worth fighting. Don't go into that kind of battle alone. And ultimately, you might want to create your own network that is more sustainable, more supportable, more open, because that isn't a very open network. That's the one thing that I see with that. And so being able to rise up to get back to our original sort of focus is saying it might need to be separating yourself from that, from the box, right? Let's go into, what do I call this? The big idea. Big idea, which is going to help us figure out renewal and rebirth. And I think we're going to do two for this. So renewal first, then rebirth. Renewal, rebirth. Okay, let's take a look at these. All right, we're going to take a look first at renewal. 10 of Wands. So this is completion. This is moving on. Remember, we had the skull at the base of the tree. I know that there are some practices where people can be buried beneath a tree, and it's kind of like a way to pay homage to them or whatever. But for you, we see you being, you're not just tethered to. Here's the thing with that. That is a very tethered thing, and it's tethered in tradition. What I like about this 10 of Wands is we see a wheel, we see movement, we see motion. This is the only 10 of Wands where the person figured out, I don't have to carry these. I could create something that moves with me, and it's not going to be a burden. So part of the renewal is figuring out how to make it work and how to make it move with you. So if you can't move easily with it, why are you wearing, like earlier today, I had a sweater on because it was a little cooler here in LA, but I can't do a reading in a long sleeve shirt. I get too warm. There's too much energy. So I usually have to just stick with short sleeve shirts. But if it's too heavy, I'm not going to wear it. I'm looking to move. I can't take much with me because a lot of things they were damaged with mold. So I just probably going to have to part with pretty much everything. So same sort of thing there. If it's a burden or if it's going to carry stuff to the next place that you don't want, let it go. So that's what this is saying. If it's too heavy, don't bring it with you. It's okay to let it go. Or think of a way to make it work for you. And that's what this is. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're just applying the wheel mentality to this. I love that 10 of Wands. That's cool. So for rebirth, maybe you're deciding, I want to do something for me. The King of Pentacles is reinvesting in himself and taking something and saying, I've done this for you. I've done this for now I need to do this for me. So asking for what it is that you need, speaking up, and reaching for something that you believe that you deserve. It may not all happen initially. It may have a very long tail to like productivity and profitability or whatever, but it's worth it. And instead of being the one that is the battery, being the one that is in this case very paternal or very parental, you're going to then get into the inner child and say, it's my turn. I'm gonna do this for myself. and back to the center. That was pretty magical, folks. We're going to do one more card at the end where we look at something that might be going on with you. So it's the final question, the final card. Before we do any of that, though, we're going to meditate. By the way, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It helps, and it's a great way to make sure that you don't miss anything. You can also give me a follow on social. We'll talk more about all of this later, but we're going to meditate first. And today, we'll definitely work with the Phoenix energy. So let me just bring the sound bowl over here, and then we will get started. Okay, do me a favor, if you will. Just close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, I want you to focus on anywhere that you feel stuck. It could literally be if you have asthma or something like that in your lungs, but it could also, imagine that you're bringing in light as you're breathing, like pulling from the sun. You can see the rays of light wrapping around your body. And as you inhale, you can see the light radiate from the top, all the way from the top of your crown to the tips of your toes and back again. And anywhere you see a shadow, anywhere that you feel a blockage, allow the light to just sit there for a moment longer and to melt that away, to move through it. And this last inhale, bring as much light into your body, into your lungs, and into your auric field as possible. And then I want you to breathe out a really deep breath and imagine this puff of smoke or ashes, because we're looking at the Phoenix. Let's also imagine that maybe that's a breath of fire, and you can see the ashes in the wake of that fire. I'd like you to take a moment and step into this. Notice that as you breathed, you created a circle of ash. See yourself in the center of that circle, and see how everything that you've been through, as we talked about, was a contextual lesson. It gave you understanding of who you are not, what you want, what you don't want, and it has made you stronger and more compassionate and more wise. See now also how it is just dust beneath your feet. It no longer carries a burden in your body, in your physical sense. And see yourself now with these beautiful wings. And we're kind of easing into the dragon energy as well, if you want to. Or you can see yourself as a phoenix or a dragon, whichever sort of mythology or energy works with you. With this next breath, I want you to imagine that you are breathing and creating this sense of lightness in your mind, in your heart that hasn't been there before. So light, in fact, that your wings can't help but open up. And when you open your eyes, you see yourself starting to move beyond the ashes of the past. Keep breathing, keep moving, keep healing, and then we'll take a look at your final card in just a moment. Last breath. Imagine now that you are gently drifting towards a desired destination, landing safely on your feet firmly planted on the planet, your wings tucked now beneath your shoulder blades, and you are ready to hit the ground running. All right. Take one last breath. On the next natural exhale, open your eyes. Turn your attention now to one last question that I haven't answered. This is your final question, final card. Spirit again reminding us to keep an open mind as the King of Wands flew off the table. All right, focus on your question, please. All right, so we have the Seven of Wands. In a yes-no question, it's a yes. It takes a little bit of work, though. The Seven of Wands is typically a card of competition, and sometimes a card for those of you that might be going through a dissertation. You understand this. You have to defend your stand. People are asking you, why are you doing this? Are you help me understand. So I told you to be ready. There's, for many of you, a chance to get what you want, but people are just going to say either, are you sure? Are you ready? Why are you doing this? Why do you want this? All of these things could also happen at a job interview. So what you want to do is not be defensive, but just be very descriptive and be, willing to stand up for what it is that you want and to fight for your chance and opportunity to get that. I like that he has almost this magical quality here. Normally the Seven of Wands is a little bit off-put and a little bit defensive, and he's more like, stop. So I love that energy. In reverse, the one thing that this tells us when we move beyond a yes or a no is you could work a little smarter. The Seven of Wands has too many things coming forward, but for a good reason, because it's on the heels of the Six of Wands, which is success. When you're successful, people want more of you, more of your time, but you can't do everything, can't be everywhere. You have to choose. It's a hard thing. That's why you have the Six of Pentacles. So Six of Pentacles will help you discern. This is going to help you get through it. And ultimately, it's going to get you to the Eight of Wands, which is just momentum and movement. So it's a great week. There's a lot of possibility here coming forth. And again, don't go on the defensive. There's a way of fighting without getting energetically flustered or frustrated. That's the main thing. I talked about this before, like just a cool, calm, collected, neutral, and direct approach. I'll wait until this is delivered. I'm ready for this. I told you, like when I had to get something from a doctor, you just say, no, I'll sit out here. You can get it to me. I have like 5 minutes. I'm sure you can find it. You can just push it out there in ways where it's not argumentative and then like, I just want this person out of here. So there's different ways of communicating that could be effective. All right, folks, that's everything. It did end up being longer than expected, but Spirit speaks. I'm a channel. I do what I can. I think that we had a good flow today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like I said, a free and effective way to show your support is if you're a longtime viewer but never subscribed, it costs $0, but it helps a lot. So thank you. Please hit subscribe if you've never done it. One thumb up for the like button helps as well. People will discover the video. And you can hit the bell icon to make sure that you receive updates. Another way to double up on that is to follow me on your chosen social media platform that you prefer. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. I'm on all of them, and I will post reminders on those. Anything that allows me to post text, you'll get a reminder when I put something new out. Remember, I don't use private messages and I don't offer private readings. So if anybody does that, block and report. There's also a form on my site if you want to tell me exactly who's doing it, and then I can report it as well. Let's see, you can go to my website for more information. If you haven't yet heard or seen it, it would be hard because I've talked about it a lot. But if you didn't know I did my podcast, go to the podcast tab, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know who you'd like me to talk to next. I read every comment and I appreciate it. And now let's get into the gratitude portion. First of all, thanks to everybody that showed up today. Thanks to Dakota for his help with moderating. I'd like to take a couple moments here to also thank everybody that gave back a little bit today. So let me pin that comment from you as well, Dakota. All right, if I can. Let's see, it's hidden here. There we go, replace pin message. All right, so I'm gonna start first with the newest members or those that were gifted, and then I'll go from there. So memberships, newest members today. I would like to welcome back the following members. And we had a few today, that's great. Okay, JT, Mystery, James, Leonie, Candy, 62 and Sunny, Kimberly, Melanie, Lalitha, Sag, I can't read the rest on that one. I think that's all it is. Heidi, Chan, Hina, Marine Mary, M. Paul, Teresa's, Loving Care, Sanam, Carrie, Holly, and Jet. Thanks and welcome. And some of those names I've seen for many years, so welcome back to those that have been longtime viewers. Let me take a moment also to celebrate any sort of anniversaries for people that have been a member for a while, and make sure that I call all of those out. So let's see. Lydia, thank you for 43 months. How amazing is that? That's awesome. Thank you for that long time support, and happy Easter to you as well. Let's see. Jan, thank you for 14 months of membership. You rock. Let's see. Lucy for 26 months. You're amazing too. Bernadette, not only, I'm going to talk about stickers in a moment, but first of all, you gave $100. That's amazing. Thank you. But also thank you for gifting then 5 memberships on top of that. That was super That's super awesome and generous today. Charlie, thank you for gifting 1 membership. Misha for 5. Also for gifting another 5. Gosh, such generosity today. It kind of warms my heart on Easter. Thank you. Let's see. And Sarah Sunshine for 11 months of membership. All right, I'm going to get into stickers now next. I think I did say hello to everybody that joined today. Carrie, I don't know if I mentioned you. Carrie and James, you were here before it even started. All right, so let me go ahead and say thanks to Super Stickers next, and we'll get started here. Okay, so Lydia, thank you for 20. Bernadette, like I said, super generous. Thanks for the 100. Lucy, Colette, Marianne, Raven, Ann Walk, Jeannie, or Jean, Beth, and Spunky Sagittarius. That's a fun name, and thank you for the 49 on that as well. So many lovely people that showed up today, and a lot of generosity, and that, by the way, does help because as of now, I'm not making money on the podcast. I'm doing it because I want to do it. So I want to do more of them, and all of that helps me fund the next one. So I'm putting it straight towards episode 2. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. Check out all the monthly ones. I'll try to put a reminder out tomorrow that all the April readings are on the main channel page. And I'll get started again. I might do it this week on Thursday just to take Monday off, but keep an eye out for schedule updates. And in the meantime, wishing you lots of love, lots of light. Let's see if we can pull Apollo up for a cameo at the end. In the meantime, I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, buddy. Time to wake up from the nap. I know. He's got a little bit of bedhead because he was sleeping. I know, buddy. Yes. Okay, guys, have a great holiday, a great weekend, and a great April because we're right on the heels of that. Wishing you lots of love, lots of support, and some sleepy hellos here from Apollo. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.